Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the 1991 Austin, Texas yogurt shop murders because there's been an update. And I always thought this case was horrible, and I'm so glad that they have they know who did it, even though he's already passed away. I think that it's helpful to know who did it and that he's not still out there looking for his next victims. So basically on December 6, 1991, 4 teenage girls were at a yogurt shop called I Can't Believe It's Yogurt. So 2 of them worked there, and they were 17-year-old Jennifer Harbison and 17-year-old Eliza Thomas, and then Jennifer's little sister Sarah and her friend Amy Ayers. So Amy was 13 and Jennifer's little sister was 15. They came in to get a ride from the older sister and her co-worker. So they were in the shop towards the end, when it was closing. So basically the shop closes at 11 p.m. An hour before closing time, a man was permitted to use the bathroom in the back, and they think that he jammed the rear door. So now I'm thinking, from what I know, this man is the man who was recently discovered as the murderer, and his name is Robert Brashers. So Robert Brashers probably asked to use the bathroom, and then he jarred the door in the back. And apparently he was bothering customers too. So a witness saw this guy bothering customers, and then he went to use the bathroom. And he was gone for a long time to use the bathroom. So that's what he was probably doing back there, was jarring the back door. So a couple who left the shop just before 11 saw 2 men sitting at a table acting furtively. So around midnight, so this is just an hour later, a policeman saw a fire at the shop. And when they put the fire out, they discovered the bodies of the girls. They all had been shot in the head, and one girl was sexually assaulted. The youngest one, mind you. That's what's disgusting. It's just disgusting that they would sexually assault anyone, but that these men want the youngest one. It's there's really a problem with grown men having attraction to little girls. It's something that is disturbing and disgusting to me. And I see it all the time, in these reports. If they kidnap a mother and her 12-year-old, they want to sexually assault the 12-year-old. And so I think you really have something wrong with you if you find a child attractive. Anyway, they discovered the bodies, and they did get DNA, and they knew what kind of gun was used. So basically, there's this whole story of these 4 teenage boys, and one of them got caught with a gun similar to the kind used in the crime. So at first, they thought that the boys did this to the girls, but apparently they didn't. So what's strange to me is that some of the guys confessed, and they had trials and they got convicted, and then it was overturned, and now we're finding that they're false confessions and none of that even was true. So it's kind of scary that someone just confesses to something because they're pressured by the detectives. So I don't know if people need to just realize that they don't have to sit there and be questioned. You can ask for a lawyer and your interview will stop. And that's really what they all should have done, because I don't think there was enough evidence against all those teenagers anyway. So it's just this month that they've matched his DNA to the DNA at the crime scene. And his gun, it's the same bullet casing. The testing of the bullet casing found in the drain at the crime scene was consistent with the patterns produced by the gun Brashers used to commit suicide in a standoff with police in 1999. So that's how he died. He killed himself because he has recently, he's done a lot of crimes here. He attacked a woman in 1985. And he kidnapped a mother and her daughter. And then he also killed another lady. So they caught him for all that. And then now his DNA is being tied to the yogurt shop murders. Now, I'm thinking, too, that he might be connected to the Springfield 3, because that's in Missouri as well, and some of his crimes were in Missouri, and some of them were in Tennessee, some of them were in Texas, some of them were in Florida. Like, he was all over the place. So unfortunately, though, in the Springfield 3, we don't have DNA that I know of. But it could very well be that he's responsible for that, too. Because he's good at having multiple victims that he can control. Because he controlled 4 teenagers at this yogurt shop. So maybe he controlled 2 teenagers and the mother in the Springfield 3. So I'm so glad that we know who's responsible. It's just too bad we couldn't find this out sooner so we could get him off the streets sooner and so he could pay for his crimes, like in jail. So I guess apparently what happened was later he came back through the back door, and with his gun he controlled the scene, and tied them up and killed them. And it's like, I'm starting to think, like, what was the motive? So he sexually assaults one of them and he just has to kill all of them, which is so sad. And how it was just an hour later the yogurt shop was on fire. So this, like, from 11 until midnight, it took an hour for him to get his joy from murdering these girls and sexually assaulting one of them. So it's like an hour of your pleasure was worth these girls' whole lives being destroyed. And it's just disgusting to me. Like, there's people that go around and they think they don't care about anyone's life but their own. They don't care about anyone's pleasure but their own. And it's just like disgusting and sad. And it's really evil, basically. It's evil. But it's like crazy that he's been dead for 26 years. And we've been trying to figure out, all the armchair detectives have been trying to figure out what happened in the yogurt shop murders. So that is crazy that this has happened. Now, there's also been an update in the Morgan Nick case, and they know who did that. And it was some pervert that he had got caught 2 months later trying to get an 11-year-old to have sex with him. So he had kidnapped 6-year-old Morgan, and she was the one that was playing at the ball field with her friends in the parking lot. And she was trying to get sand out of her shoes, and her friends went ahead back to the ballpark, and she disappeared. So they've traced it to this red truck that was seen there. And then the red truck was seen 2 months later trying to pick up the 11-year-old. And they had found a hair in the back of his truck. And they've just now been able to have testing where they can confirm that it was Morgan's hair. And so it had no reason to be in his truck except that he murdered her. And we don't know where her body is. So I hope that someday they do find Morgan's body so her mother can give her a burial. It's such a sad story. But I'm glad we're getting, some updates on these cases. Of course, in Morgan Nick's case, the man has been dead for years as well. So a lot of these people, when they finally figure out who they are, they've already passed away because so much time has went by. But I'm glad we have this technology, and hopefully most cases are not going to take that long to get solved in the future.
You told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until